In today's video, we're going to introduce dividing polynomials. So here in this video, we're going to look at dividing polynomials without a remainder, and then in the next video, we'll look at dividing polynomials with a remainder. So in the expression a divided by b equals c, a is called the dividend, b is called the divisor, and c is called the quotient. So b is what you divide into a, and the result that you get is c, the quotient. When dividing polynomials, it's going to help to write your terms in standard form, so from highest power of x or whatever variable down to the lowest. And you may also need to fill in any missing terms using a zero. So if we have something like x cubed plus 5x minus 1, we're going to have to write in a 0x squared for that missing x squared term. But before we get into division, let's review an organizational technique that I use for multiplying polynomials. So to find the product of x minus 2 times x squared plus 6x plus 7, we can use this following method where we set up a grid, and the first expression, x minus 2, we'll put each of those terms in its own row. So an x in one row, and then the minus 2 in another row. And then the x squared plus 6x plus 7, each of those terms will be its own column. The x squared column, the 6x column, and the 7 column. And this is just a way to help organize with the distribution of x minus 2 to each of these terms. So we take x times x squared and we write its product inside and we get x cubed. And then we take x times 6x and we get, or well, it doesn't really matter what order we go. Negative 2 times x squared is negative 2x squared. X times 6x will give us 6x squared. Negative 2 times 6x, we'll put the answer in here, is negative 12x. X times 7, that answer will go here as 7x, and negative 2 times 7, that answer will go here as negative 14. And an advantage to using this technique is your like terms will be along the diagonals inside your grid or your blocks or whatever you want to call this, a lattice. So x cubed, there's no other x cubes in here to combine, but we combine 6x squared and negative 2x squared, and we get 4x squared. When we combine negative 12x with 7x, we get negative 5x, and then the negative 14, much like the x cubed, doesn't have any common terms to combine. So our final answer is x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 14. And so what we're going to do is we're going to reverse the process. We're going to start with this answer, and we'll divide it by, let's say, x minus 2, and we'll get this result of x squared plus 6x plus 7. So we're going to fill in this row above this first row inside the grid. So x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 14, if we divide it by x minus 2, we'll start with the x minus 2 outside, and we'll put x cubed in the upper left corner of the grid. So to get what goes up here, this expression times x has to give us x cubed. So to figure out what this expression is going to be, we're just going to divide x cubed by x, and when we divide x cubed by x, we get x squared. And then much like we did in the before, this x squared times this negative 2, we're going to write this answer in this space. It gives us negative 2x squared. And so now to get the next term that's going to go in this box and up and to the right of the negative 2x squared, we have a 4x squared in our dividend. So we need to make 4x squared when we combine negative 2x squared and this value here. So what do we have to add to negative 2x squared to get 4x squared? We have to add 6x squared. And 6x squared minus 2x squared does give us this 4x squared. And now we can just repeat the process like when we started with x cubed divided by x. 6x squared divided by x is 6x. 6x times negative 2, we're going to write that answer in this space, is negative 12x. We have negative 5x. Well, we need negative 5x. We have negative 12x. So what do we have to add to negative 12x to get this negative 5x? Well, we have to add 7x. 7x minus 12x gives us negative 5x. And then 7x divided by x, we'll write that answer up here as 7. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14, which is what we have. So if we combine all these terms inside this grid, we end up with x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 14, all 4 of these terms are accounted for, so our quotient, our answer is x squared plus 6x plus 7. All right, so let's take a look at example 1. Divide x cubed plus 8 by x plus 2. Well, let's write x cubed plus 8 as x cubed plus 0x squared plus 0x plus 8. So any missing powers of x will fill in with zeros as their coefficients. So we'll start with x plus 2. That's going to give us 2 rows. Don't worry about the number of columns just yet. So if you need to add more columns, you can always add more columns, assuming you have enough space to the right here. But we're going to put this x cubed inside this upper left box. So to get what goes above that column, we're going to take x cubed divided by x, and that gives us x squared. So x squared times x is x cubed. And then this expression, this term, is going to be 2 times x squared, which is 2x squared. Now, this 2x squared is going to combine with the one that's up and to the right, this expression, to equal 0x squared. So it's like we're an accountant, and we got to keep everything balanced and accounted for. So what do we have to add to 2x squared to get 0x squared? That's going to go up here. That's negative 2x squared. So these end up canceling out to the 0. Then negative 2x squared divided by x, we're going to put that answer up here is negative 2x. Negative 2x times 2, that's going to go right here, is negative 4x. We need a 0x, so what do we have to add to negative 4x to get 0x? That answer is going to go in this space, and that's a 4x. 4x minus 4x gives us 0x, or negative 4x plus 4x is 0x. And then 4x divided by x is going to go up top. We get 4. And then 4 times 2 is 8. And that actually is the last number there. That's our constant. So we've accounted for all 4 of these terms by combining everything inside this grid. So our final answer, our quotient, is what's written above, the x squared minus 2x plus 4. And we can check to make sure this is right, because if we multiply x plus 2 by the quotient that we got, and we should get x cubed plus 8. So, all right, that about does it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.